argue with that one. But the thing, you know what I can argue with?
What's that?
The cardinal sin that is letting Zeri through the draft.
Letting Zeri through the draft every single time.
That's a problem. I'm pretty sure this literally happened to Oplon yesterday. They must clearly think that, I mean, to be fair, when you look at all the bans that they went through, Jack Troll, Thresh, his best champion. The dude is ridiculous with it. TF, Diplex, excellent also at the TF. There's a lot of good picks here in this first phase, and they think that they can beat this Zeri, who at the very least does have a weak early game. You have Aphelios on the bottom side of the map. It could very well be the Tahm Kench in the support role.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. So you could be playing for lane here.
I think this most definitely is, because I believe the Death misspoke earlier. I don't know about you, I didn't see Z-Crow play yesterday. So this
this doesn't count.
So today is most definitely his debut, and we see he's back yet again, or should I say for the first time, on the Aphelios, and I love this change. This has to be Tahm Kench support, just because yesterday, you know, we unfortunately got him, saw him dove over and over and over again. So who better to save this immobile AD carry than the Tahm Kench himself? As you see, you know, other ways of perhaps bringing that out and perhaps threatening the potential is the bans of the Ornn on the other end for Vitality, which I feel like we haven't seen enough of in the past little bit.
No.
And matched by the Camille and Jace ban, the Malphite Gunway as well. So I'm looking at possibly a Graves top for Oplon.
We'll have to see. I think the team in the early game usually ends up doing better when they have Darlik rather on those more tankier picks. The Gnar is definitely an interesting one. Actually, this is a champion I expected to see a lot more, because now we're on 12-3 as of this week. The fighter item changes come through. Things like Trinity Force have changed. Mauve Malmortius is much better now. Death Stance, etc. And it turns out Trinity Force Gnar goes actually pretty hard. If you watch any of the games yesterday, you would know that it was doing a lot of work in the top lane. People were building Hull Breaker, going for these split push kind of styles here to draw pressure around the map. It's not something we usually see Darlik do. It is more about team fighting. So I think this is more of what he's going to go for here. But it is right, yeah, it is going to be Tahm Kench in that support role. And I know why your eyes widened. I know, and the Akali did get through for Shigenda. I think that's a first look for him, which I really like, just because she's still good.
She's still absolutely fantastic. I think this could very well also just be potentially a double flex, right? But I'm sure we'll find that out in just 1 second. And there we go. That's the Vex coming back in. Vex, which we have not seen since like week 2. I think at this point. I think
we saw one on week 4 also.
Nice. Right, yeah, it did get through just that one time. I'm personally all for it. Vex is fantastic, and this has been the most common response into the Vex is that Syndra, you do get a pretty decent lane in, so you don't have as much kill threat into her either. So I think it's a pretty safe pick. And for Peng, who we've said is one of the stars of this Oplon roster, they now have solid engage across the board as well, and like good CC. So I like this a lot from Oplon.
Yeah,
so let's see if they can keep that going, or will Oplon finally get their first win? It's gonna be number 1.
Well, they definitely have quite the mountain to climb. First seed versus last seed here. And Oplon, or actually neither team, going to do a whole lot early on. I think I have my eyes mostly set on Brunez and Peng, just because of how, or at least for Oplon, just because of how important this mid-jungle duo is going to be in the earlier parts of the game. You see Z-Core has gone the cleanse. There's a lot of CC he's going to have to be dealing with, which makes a lot of sense. And talking to people who have been paying attention to the last little bit of Z-Core's career, a lot of them have said that he's a player who doesn't need as much resources. He's still going to be able to succeed, still going to be able to team fight. And when I look at yesterday and what he had to go through, dealing with the Hecarim, being able to dive him at any given point despite being a tank, I think that was a bit of an outlier in a way where it's like, okay, like if you're getting ghosted, Hecarim, I think Karma might have been in that game, and just getting absolutely domed by the you're not playing. It's a 4 versus 5. So in this situation here, you do have a lot of CC to worry about, but I have a feeling there is more counterplay available to Z-Core, especially with the cleanse. So I think today will give us a better idea of what this new player might be able to do.
Yeah, you're watching the game happen to you, and just another fun fact about Z-Core as well. I believe he's the first player from the North African Middle Eastern region to play in the LFL. In fact,
that's right.
Yes, I remember exactly. Oh, Tunisia. He's from Tunisia. So I remember the country is right near Morocco. So I absolutely love that for him, right? Getting more representation within the LFL, like, and just I imagine, you know, people from that region have to be very proud that, you know, more and more of the players are getting into these ERLs, and especially moving towards the European region, showing how almost the entire world, especially down in Northern Africa, contains this kind of fantastic talent. All he just needs is an opportunity to show it. As Z-Core in Absolute, he doing really well. Like you mentioned, the early game for Zeri, not super great.
Nope.
And we have actually seen this be countered by Misfits, who made the same play twice with Zeri, where right around wave 3 or 4 after the first back, they actually go mid and allow the mid lane to be pushed in and then use that as a dive to make sure that they get that Zeri ahead. Although not exactly replicated by Jeskla and Vitality. For now, we'll consider to see a pretty neutral game. As you see, both junglers bot side.
Yeah, it is going to be playing for bottom. I like this move on the invade. They're moving in to pressure this Viego. Skeens, who early on isn't too powerful, can't duel as well as, say, like the Lee Sin, the Xin Zhao, etc. So what they're going for instead is just to set up vision, get the eyes on this Viego, and have an idea of where he's going to be. Now they know they have the information that he's on this bottom side. A gank is probably not going to be very successful on Vitality.Bee side early on, and this is fine because this is what we see from them. They play early, slow, play a little bit more to scale, and only find opportunities when they are a little too juicy to pass up, if you know what I mean. The thing, though, I will give Skeens a lot of credit for is that he's very good at spotting out ganks that the enemy is going for and ending up neutralizing them. He did this a lot yesterday in Vitality.Bee's game. He did this a lot against Brunez the last time these two teams met in week 2.
Yeah.
So the big question for me is, how's Brunez going to be able to or what I want to see rather is how's Brunez going to be able to overcome these the vision, and how Vitality.Bee have been able to avoid the plays he's making, because I need to see him find some activity. Yes, we have CC and other parts of the map, but this is Lee Sin. Your job in this early game is to find some of these gank angles, make some of these early plays to enable your laners.
And Oplon has been pretty good about that. One of the big highlights we've seen so far, and what we always do praise them for, is they're being able to consistently capitalize on early game opportunities, having pretty solid leads, although they don't necessarily turn into towers and objectives, but they do always manage to, have a decent, obviously, like 400, 500 goal lead due to usually getting first blood, and then probably snowballing, usually paying more often than not after that, right? But so far this time, when they faced Vitality last time, what happened was, I believe Austin mentioned the best, Skeens and just all of Vitality were able to track Brunez at all times. And yet again, we saw that too, where he spotted on a ward, placed really well by Diaplex a little bit later than when he usually would, so he probably wasn't expecting a ward to be there either. Neither was on his Raptors, it was on his cross towards River as well. So now with this, they know exactly where Brunez will be tracking, and they more than likely know that they need to push out bot side, and they can likely make a play for Dragon as well, where Absolute is not on a roam, and we see Brunez coming down with him.
We see the pings coming too, assist pings on the bottom side of the map. It could be a potential play because Zcor is threatening the freeze in that bottom lane, but they saw the Scryer orb being hit as well. They know that it's most likely Skeens in this bottom quadrant, so Brunez should be looking, I think, for a play here. I think that's Zcor. He's pinging that next wave. They want to make a play on this bounce back, and you can see Brunez is hovering in the river for that reason, but I think instead he's going to opt to go to the mid lane, and Absolute is actually going to be there with him. You already see teleports have been extended. There is no way to actually get help from the team if they try to dive Diplex. But instead, I actually think they're just shadowing so that they can get that mid wave in. They're going to commit many members to this play because we see Peng is already on the move.
Look at Skeens as well, too. He's also coming in for a lane gank as well, just looking to back in the bush, but it'll be a potential 3v3 as Zcor gets stunned and spotted, has to use the cleanse. There's a safeguard.
Oh, hello.
Not going to land onto anybody, but Jack Troll's in trouble. And he gets taken down, the first blood for Brunez.
Nice, that was a good read there from Skeens, but it wasn't good enough. Cleanse flash out from Zcor, he manages to walk away and get the assist, and Brunez is starting things off with first blood. This is really good for Oplon. They have this opportunity to go for Dragon if they want to, but instead they are going to back off. We're getting closer and closer to the Rift Herald time, and that could be something they're going to be playing towards. I mean, we highlighted in Champs, that's something they do like to do, and I think being able to snowball this early game is going to be very important for them. So I want to see them move up to this top side. Vitality.Bee are actually looking to do the same thing, but when it comes to early skirmishing power, I give the advantage to Oplon here. So that's why I'm hoping they do go for control over this top side of the map, even though they aren't first.
Yeah, because until at least Jessica gets about half an item or maybe just one item. Even Sagenda, too, has to be around level 9 to be able to actively use all of his abilities and not run out of energy in the middle of the fight. So, like you're saying, Vitality do not want to fight this. They simply want to just scale back, use their waves to their advantage to get objectives, but for now, Oplon has a very clear window of opportunity as Shadow Surge gets popped. There's the fear, the flash out from Peng. Oh my god, that was a little bit of a delayed scat of the week, but it works out just fine. Peng will stay safe.
It did cost him his flash. Now it could be Skeens is here to potentially finish the job. It's worth noting too, Diplex almost has the fear bar. He could make the flash play if he really wants to, but I think Peng is respecting that, and everybody is just going to be able to walk away. Is a good play from Vitality.Bee, and we'll see if they're actually going to be able to punish it later on. Oh, speaking of
the perfect execution, yeah, it's just, as soon as that came in, you saw how the trades were going, especially for Agenda and Darlik. He was not able to out-damage him with the stun being down, the Gnar not really going to do much at all.
Yeah.
The solo bolo with the ignite, well done by Agenda.
And we're already seeing early advantages come through. Oh, that scatter of the week needed to land there, and Diplex might have been in trouble, but narrowly avoids that gank. Top lane, and that play is so important because we were talking about, I agree with you, level 9 is a big deal for Akali, so finding that kill at level 7 early on there for Shigender is a really big deal. Letting this Akali snowball is going to be such a problem because when you think about Oplon's front line, you have pushing. Yeah, like this is terrible. I mean, he's going to be able to walk back and get the tower, so it's fine. But the thing too is with the front line that they have Darlik, they have Absolute, pretty beefy boys. But when you think about Akali, this is an assassin. She can bypass all of that. So any lead Shigenda is getting is very dangerous for the likes of G-Core and Peng.
It's like having the fast pass when you're at Disney World.
You
just look at all the suckers in a normal line. You're thinking, I gotta walk by 4 people. I'm suddenly in. Sucks to suck.
Yeah, except the slide is enemy 80 carry.
Exactly that. I think that's the ride that Akali wants to be on all times.
Yeah.
You can scale yourself. But going back to what we were looking, Peng right now is looking to get the blue buff as well. So they likely been. And I believe, Diplex doesn't actually know about this too. Might have thought that he actually is gonna back, but I like the way that his wave's positioned. This is keeping him in lane, so that also gives him an opportunity to back as well and get a lot of these resets, because I'm looking at Diplex to actually get his first item, because as soon as he does, I find, he gets very scary. Just on the Vex, considering the all-in threats are disgusting, and we were just speaking about all-in threats right from champs like Akali too. The Vitality can threaten all the squishies on Oplon, and Tom Kench can only swallow one person.
That's right, and it's tough because Vitality.Bee, the fact that this early game has been going slow is perfect for them. Not just because of their playstyle, but because of the draft. We're talking Viego, Akali, Zeri. Yeah. They have no shortage of late game scaling, and of course Vex, the all-in potential there combined with the Leona is exceptional. And in this composition here, this game gets harder and harder for Oplon as time goes on. So they got to do something here. The problem is, once again, it feels like they're passing.
Indeed they are, and we were talking about the all-in threat.
Wow.
6!
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Alright, that was nice, but it's simply not enough. He has no flash.
The reset!
Now we're going forward. The reset comes in. Absolute swallows one. Gets a big kill. And that gives Brutus just enough time and survivability. Make sure to get one. That's the second reset. Absolute will walk away. A trade, but still in favor of Vitality.
That is unfortunate. I mean, you do end up giving away another kill. I think Jack Troll is the one who picked it up, so it's not as a big a deal. But it's still Vitality.Bee who are the ones controlling the pace of this game, and you can see it because Darlik's jungler had just fallen. He has to respect the all-in potential here of Shigender. Not just Shigender, his jungler, because look at the vision on the top side of the map here in Oplon's jungle. One pink ward on the red buff, but plenty of room for some pretty nasty pathing for Skeens if he actually wants to do something. Problem is, Skeens isn't even there. He's in the jungle. He's just giggling to himself. He'll never know. And he has to respect it.
Oh, that is truly unfortunate, right? So, as Bruno's not getting spotted out as early this time, they haven't been able to read his every move. So, at least a solid improvement for what we've seen previously the last time these two teams met. And I can say for sure, in looking back at a lot of these VODs, right, Oplon has most definitely improved, right? And I find, as is every single team, week 1, week 2 was rough for a lot of them. I believe Upset was talking about it within on the U4 podcast with Gabriel. It's about Spring Split is about limit testing more often than not. How well you mesh with your team, and there's a certain look that Spring has. It's just about teams figuring each other out, and whoever figures out each other first usually does win. And LDLC and Vitality have done a really good job of that, considering they seem to be on the same page at all times. Oplon, though, slowly but surely coming together, and with the addition of Z-Core, we are looking at how well he meshes. So far, he's doing fine.
I mean,
in this game, at least.
Yeah, laning phase has been good, but it's to be expected considering the matchup. Zeri, again, pretty weak early on, but now we're at that point where Jessica is starting to get online. The Trinity Force is there. Yeah. We're waiting for 2 items with this champion, but already Jessica has been pretty safely able to get to some of these key item spikes. So Actually, speaking of keys, I think they're going to make a play top.
Immediately, actually, Brutus has to hop over the wall, takes a big chunk of damage, so he's under no kill threat, but there are a lot of people roaming up here too. It should be a 4v4. Absolute spots one. He goes in onto Schemes. He's actually a 2v1. A very nice solar flare and a fear onto Darlik as he turned it back around. A scatter the weak and a save on the Gnar, who almost has the full Gnar bar, but with his shield, he knows just to run away. He wants the big boy Gnar, but he cannot be able to revitalize it.
And what a brutal fight coming through. And again, it's just Oplon who are responding to plays. The Herald doesn't take down the tower, which is fine. I mean, Shigenda is running the top lane, so keep Darlik in lane as long as you please at this point. So the thing, too, is that Oplon have to walk away, tail between their legs. They're trying to do their best to cover some of their laners with these plays going on, but they're not getting anything out of this. They're falling behind, again, in a composition where they're going to lose if they aren't ahead or even at this point in the game. And with this being said, they managed to have the first dragon, which is nice, but dragon stacking is going to be very difficult for them as time goes on, because the first dragon was picked up very late, and we already established the time is not on their side here. The activity from Oplon is something we always, some days we criticize, some days we praise it, because sometimes they are able to make things happen, but today isn't one of those days, and they're going to struggle for it.
Indeed, because within the first, 14 minutes of the game, Vitality, although up in kills, right? It's been nice that we see Brunas, who's always very, very active, has both of the kills picked up by Oplon. But as the game goes on, exactly like you're mentioning, Vitality decides whether to take these fights, and they're the ones who choose what kind of piece of the pie, or whether they even want to indulge in the pie. And Oplon definitely does not want to wait for that. But at this moment in time, they just simply have not been able to find any sort of wave management or opportunity to punish Vitality for how slow they're playing. And as you continue forward, I'm worried for what the look might be, because we were talking about Vex, we were talking about Akali, and Vitality knows how to really play well and punish their opponents who let them simply just chill.
That very same punish looking like it's about to happen. Skeenson's on the bottom side, but instead, you might opt to go for the dragon, but it looks like both junglers are here potentially in this bottom lane, but I think Brunez is here to just go for the escort. Allow Zikor to have that pressure to allow him to clear pretty easily, and instead, they could make the play.
They find the solo for that's the cleanse down by Zikor, but that at least allowed them to move over to the dragon. They're caught in a bit of a choke, and Ziplex did if he can get to Zikor. That's Zenith Blade. That's a stun down as well. Now Skeens goes in, and that's a massive fear. 3 more people, and now they get looking to pop off. And just look on the backside. He's putting out all these shots. A Nard into the wall as he hops away. The movement from Jeskla as he is untouched. A triple from Sagenda. Can make it the quadra. One more auto, and look at that. Jeskla will be giving that over. An ace at 15 minutes from Vitality.
And only 1 kill to show for it for Oplon. And again, it's on to Brunez. This Lee Sid. Early kills are fine, but Ravi, we're at 15 minutes in the game. Other people need gold too. I think Zikor does manage to get 1 kill, which is nice, but we see a great engage coming through from Jack Drill, and he has the stopwatch, which is why he's not afraid to go all in. And even though the junglers end up getting traded, it's Shigenda doing all this work, and the fact is Jack Drill is still here, able to offer that CC and walk away, which is the big thing. So it ends up being a 2 for 5 in heavy favor of Vitality.Bee. And this is just, we're slowly starting to see Oplon lose control of yet another game.
Yeah, and because they immediately got the cleanse from Zikor as well after using the ultimate, and at that point, Jack Troll was close enough to be like, all right, that's fine. I can just go in by myself. Yeah, I'm down to go. And everybody else was here already. So, but on the back end of it, at least they'll be able to dragon stack. It's taking dragon for themselves, but you're mentioning a priority. Yeah. Fantastic with both of these teams, and Vitality wants this.
Then they're going to get it. They can get whatever they want at this point. 3,000 gold up. It's not even a question. It's just a matter of when, and it's going to be done. They could drop it in the top lane. I think that's probably going to be their best bet if they really want to here, just because of the fact that you want to allow Shigenda to be able to push this top wave as far as possible and allow him to move around the map, set it up so that he won't even need to use the teleport. Whether or not he has it won't matter, because at the moment, nobody is able to 1v1 him. Not Darlik, not Peng, definitely not Brunez, so it's no choice here.
Speaking of members of Oplon who can't 1v1, Zikor is one of them, as he gets saved again.
Sure is.
He's we'll be able to get out, but perfectly fun. That's the ultimate down as well. Although it's a decently low cooldown from Absolute, if they keep threatening this, and suddenly things do get a little bit more dangerous. This agenda is far up, but he draws enough attention that their Feral will get the charge, and that is mid-turret down. 2 turrets to none right now for Vitality, who have now opened up the entire top side of the map. And with the bot side being focused on by Jessica, that solo turret gold going over to him, as he does have Skeens right over there, so he has no real threat on him either. And just one fell swoop, that's 2 towers down.
That's right, it's going to be 3-0 for Vitality.Bee. They continue to just stack this gold in their favor, breaking open the mid-tier one as well, opening up the map, allowing them to continue to have control over that mid-priority and allow them to set up vision for these objectives here. But so far, they're just at this point where they can fight Oplon whenever they choose to. The setup isn't as important as it would be if they're in an even game state right now. And you can see it. So many of these key items are coming through. It's worth especially noting Jessica, who we talk about, needing to get to the 2-item point on the Zeri, is almost there. And when that Titanic Hydra comes through, Vitality.Bee are ready to full send. They're at this point where Brunez and Darlik need to be the ones to find some of these angles to go in. Either it's going to be a Meganar that's going to get a big ultimate there, big CC chain. Oh, hold on.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's just... Okay, nice scatter cutter with the Everfrost and the solo kill in 3 ability from Diplex. Well done.
Vex is good, bro.
Yeah, I know.
She's good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so good. And then there was just an easy solo kill coming through here, and it just makes this proposed win condition there for Oplon that much harder.
Yep.
The fact is, if your carries are under so much threat, how are you going to be able to lead them to find some of these key angles that you need for these fights to come through?
As we see another angle for the fight, potentially, but Oplon knows that the Vitality have more people at the party. They can simply do nothing as Skeens walks up and just exerts his dominance, though. But speaking of Skeens, we were talking about it before, and considering his performance, even yesterday as well, the way we saw him on the Hecarim, he was absolutely everywhere in the entire map, you know, threatening to make sure that his ADCs, the ADCs just could not play. And considering the performance we're seeing out of him today too, although he's not as fast, he's still doing so gosh darn good.
Oh, hold on. We gotta... No, okay,
Nah,
no.
it's fine.
Bruna, it's just a quick little handshake. Like, hey,
Yeah.
how you doing? Okay, see ya. You're right. Skeens has been playing really well this game. Picking the Viego works really well with their style. Like, just playing slow, playing early, being proactive, but also understanding the plays their enemy wants to go for and responding to them. And that's why we're seeing so many of these kills go in favor of Vitality.Bee. So many of these plays Oplon are going for aren't working for them, and they are continuing to run out of time. We're 20 minutes in. Dragon Soul's all they have left to them here, but Vitality.Bee are okay letting those first 2 dragons go, because now you can see it. They're pushing mid, they're ignoring top for the moment, and they're pushing bot. And they're setting up for this dragon that's coming up in about a minute's time. It's going to be all but theirs, barring some kind of miracle.
Yeah, because if you're also looking at Oplon's positioning as well, we see a lot of Pangs going towards the top side. You're thinking that perhaps Pang could perhaps push that push that wave up to the tower, you know, mirrored by Absolute. And with all the resources going there, that's likely what they're trying to trade for to push this wave in. But might not necessarily be there in time, because even if they manage to get top tower, they'll lose bot tier 2 and the dragon off of it. So the trade never truly in the favor of Oplon. It's a lose-lose situation.
This is what happens with how far behind they are. They are going to be able to clear vision around this top side where the Baron is. So the pings are coming through, and we are going to see that it pulls Vitality.Bee's attention. But what you're talking about is coming true. The trade is going. They're going to shadow Zcor, which is good because he was ignored yesterday quite a bit, like you were mentioning. And it means it's going to be one objective bounty at the very least picked up here. They've already given up on the fact that they can get this dragon because they can't. Oh, no.
That's fear. That's ever... Ooh! A clutch ultimate by Absolute, making sure he stays alive. But like you're saying, at least the mirroring worked out. But from here, you know, they'd have to simply give that up. They wouldn't get top tower off of it, and Dragon will not go away. Yeah,
Zcor blew the cleanse before that Devour ended up coming through, so it still doesn't have access to that summoner spell. Dragon's gone. Soul Wind Con just became impossibly harder for Oplon. And they are running out of options at this point. They're still 3-manning top. They really want this objective bounty. They want to be able to get something, but because they know this on the side of Vitality.Bee, it's easy for them to just rotate top now. They have every other wave pushed or being pushed in while Skeen solos the Drake. So this tower, Vitality.Bee, they're kind of being mean. They're like, no, you're not getting this tower even. I know you want this. I know you want this little extra bit of gold. No.
It's like being 4 feet tall and seeing the cookie jar above you, knowing that if you were simply a little bit taller, a little bit stronger, that might have been yours is out of your reach, but something that you just can't grasp for now. You need to get a little bit taller to be able to try to get that. Unfortunate for Vitality, because cookies are very good, especially the ones you make.
Yeah, true. Thank you. I mean, you know about not being able to reach things too, so I'm sure you deeply sympathize.
I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna go.
No, please. I'm already casting all 5 games. I can't solo cast. I'm sorry.
You know, I know you say you're sorry, but I know you don't mean it.
I mean, I kind of do. You're not 4 feet tall.
I'm not.
That's mean.
Thankfully. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that seems rough.
If I was 4 feet tall, then then Applebot below me would have to be the size of this desk at this point.
You just stand on the desk.
That would be, you know what, that'd be exciting to see.
Yeah, right.
Another side to see is all these members of Vitality who are already a topside match by Oplon looking to be a 5v5 here beatdown.
And a 5v5 is what Vitality.Bee are going to excel at the moment here. So strong, 6,000 gold ahead, and you can see it. There is one, looks like a blue ward that did end up showing. Vitality.Bee aren't actually on the Baron, so all they can do is very slowly clear some vision inside their jungle. Just their jungle.
Yep.
Not even the river's not even in their cars. They can't even see it. It's about clearing up the things around this camp. Look how
it's not their jungle anymore. According to Skeens, it's our jungle.
No, Skeens saying it's my jungle.
Oh wow, suddenly.
This isn't like the communist bugs meme or anything like that. Like this is
capitalism.
This is Skeens dictatorship.
I run all of this and nothing, but you. He's simply letting Brunas have this farm right now. Like,
yeah,
you know
I allow it to happen. That's why. I'm 40 CS up. He can have it.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
So
dude.
never say that Skeens is not merciful.
You're right. Generally, he knows that Brunas needs some of it, right? He wants to try to get to his second item. To be fair, if you look at it, right? Brunas and Skeens are almost at the exact same amount of items, right? As Skeens should be going towards that deck stance, what it looks like. So, he is almost there, but Brunas isn't too far behind. So if we're looking at in terms of itemization, things aren't falling apart at the seams. But if you look across the board at everything else, there's a very clear gap. As Vitality positioned towards Baron, Oplon knows this is happening. The question is, can they stop it? As it's just his bot side, but he has TP.
No, I don't think they can. They're gonna have to make a decision really soon on, especially when you have something like Shigenda on the split.
Yep.
Maybe you can try and force something around the Baron, get that TP out, and that'll be something you can try and play off of here. Because now Darlik is at that 2-item mark. It's a lot harder. In fact, maybe Shigenda might not even be able to 1v1 him anymore. So it's just gonna be, it's hard to threaten the turrets with Shigenda in the area like that, or with Darlik in the area like that, though.
Yep.
And if they can force TP, send Darlik back to the bot lane, they might have a chance, if they force Shigenda's TP, to be able to make some kind of 5v4 play. Because they're at this point where they got to do something, because the game is slowly being taken away from them here. And again, we used this analogy before. They aren't in the driver's seat anymore.
No.
Oplon are basically in the passenger seat unless they make something happen soon.
Vitality has taken the wheel, and they're taking them for a spin, a ride even. A ride that Oplon have been on before, but they do not want to be on again. Although they're tall enough to ride it, can't relate. Simply they want to get off me now.
They do, yeah, they do. And the only way to do so is really just to try something desperate. They are going to commit a lot of people to this top side once again. This time it will work, but they aren't going to be able to get very much. They're still very far behind. They do get an objective bounty, which is nice, but they have to recall because they know that bot tier 2 is just about done and dusted, and they know that a dive could be made if the rest of them continue to show on that wave, so they have to back off and pay their respect.
What I like about this is really interesting, because with the way that what Vitality have been doing against Oplon is they know that they have to send Darlik or at least Peng somewhere along the sidelines, just to be able to make sure that he's able to, push at least one way, because he has Allbreaker and Type Force, right? He wants to do that. He wants to set up power points across the entire map, or some sort of pressure point that Vitality have to respond to. But Vitality have been at least bringing 2 or 3 people into every single lane. As a hold, Jack Troll is knocked up. He's by himself. He gets spotted on vision, but he gets away. Lands a solar flare, but they can't trade into them. It'll simply just be a trading of cooldowns.
That is brutal, to say the least. You look like you have something there, but Leona, even without Aftershock Eclipse, makes it very tanky, hard to take down, and that's the Dragon's Rage, gone. They used it, they couldn't get anything done with it. One of the big playmaking tools they have here, and all they have to rely on, is Darlik. and that Gnar ultimate. But of course, for the most part, he's going to be splitting. It's going to be about him TPing in, hopefully with that Mega Gnar ready to go
Yes.
to try and set up some of these plays. So maybe flank angles, something reminiscent of a Kennen. Looking for those flank ultimates is something they could try and play for.
Yep.
But this is getting brutal. I'm getting pretty close to asking you about what movie you want to see.
I mean, you know what? So before you do that, let me just go ahead and finish the point I was trying to say.
Go
Look,
ahead.
Darlic, right, knows he wants to split, he wants waves, he wants to get stronger and stronger. But what Vitality are doing is they keep putting up two-way pushes, at least with 2 to 3 people, with one person bearding, right? And so, Oplon has to respond, but they know because they're not strong enough, they have to respond with more of a man advantage.
Yes.
So they're always putting up 4 people on either top or mid, and because they don't have the wave clear to be able to match against Vitality, because especially with Jeskla and Skeens and Sagenda, who cleared out waves within about 2 different abilities, suddenly they're looking at them constantly grouping up, never really allowing Darlic, you know, to be being able to push the lane. Because if he's spotted on vision, that means Vitality know, hey, they're 4v5. If you bring more people here, we have TP advantage. We just win the fight. And so Darlic can get a wave, has to go back outside of vision, gets a wave, go back outside of vision. And so he's just hiding, trying to get Romper or 2. Maybe he gets some jungle camps. And with that, they're just bleeding because Vitality can keep on pushing and Oplon keep having to respond like this.
Yeah, the Baron started. The blue trinket will spot them out. It's still being two-man by Jeskla and Skeens. Most of Vitality.Bee are here, and they're looking to play interference. The thing that's difficult is that Oplon, they have to take their time. If they get caught with a big fear from Diplex, who has that fear bar ready to go, this is going to be it.
Brunus actually just takes about half of his health from 2 abilities from Sagenda. As Vitality
they're
to go
looking
back, Lance now surge the fear onto 2, Diplex immediate stopwatch, and a solar flare, but to get the ADC, Z-Core still has his cleanse, but he'll die before he can even use it, and it's just so damn easy for Vitality. They pull the trigger after bleeding Oplon dry, and now Oplon can say bye-bye to the game.
And that's going to be another win for Vitality.Bee, solidifying their first place spot at 9-3. An excellent game from this team, start to finish, and they're just going to go and rip the base apart.
Yeah, it was exactly like you were saying, right? Vitality take these fights on their terms. They know when they can capitalize on a potential man advantage. They know when they're stronger, and they choose when they fight.